Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland, with me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. If you have always pictured your wedding dance floor full of your friends and family, dancing, partying, and having the time of their lives, then this episode is just for you. My name is Kelly, and I'm the host of the Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast. And today, I'm going to walk you through some really practical decisions you can make right now so that on your wedding day, you have the best party you've ever had. I'm going to walk you through a few very practical things. Sometimes people make decisions that they just haven't really thought about, or, perhaps the venue has a slightly different idea of how things could be done, but it doesn't match up perfectly with your vision to have a full dance floor. And so there are a few things that you can do, decisions you can make, conversations you can have with some of your suppliers, some really strategic things you can do to get the most out of your dancing and party time with your guests. So the first thing is all about how you start. So let's just look at some different scenarios. I've been to many weddings in my time. I was a wedding planner. I know a lot of people who have been married, and so I've been to their weddings as well. So I have seen it all. And one scenario is the dancing is a moment that is optional. Now, if that's you and you want guests to choose what they want to do, totally fine. But right now what I'm doing is I'm talking to the people who want as many people on the dance floor as possible. You want that fun aspect. You want everyone there having a great time. You know that they want to be there, but you just need to help them feel comfortable enough to get onto the dance floor. It's how you start. So I've been to a few weddings where the dancing was optional. And during the first dance, all the guests were seated at their tables, and the dance floor for some of us was kind of in the distance, and you're watching it from where you're seated. The plus side of that is that from a photography perspective, your photographer and videographer can get some really great shots without people in the way. But the downside is that when you finish your first dance, everyone's seated. And to get people to stand up and move to the dance floor is really, really hard. So this is what I recommend you do instead. You have a very set time that the dancing is going to begin. So you don't want to have it be, anytime after people have finished eating, they could go up whenever they want to. Because in that instance, it takes a very bold guest who doesn't mind being on the dance floor on their own for a period of time. Because the reality is it's going to take at least half a song for anyone else to go, someone's dancing. That's a good idea. I wonder if I should join them. And more often than not, it takes longer than that. So you're talking about somebody who is bold enough to say, I think I'm allowed to dance, and then to get up on the dance floor and be on their own for at most, or at the least, about 2 minutes, 2 full minutes, feeling like all eyes are on them. So this is how you do it instead. You don't have a fluid dance start time. You have a very set starting time. The music that you play up until that point is very clearly not danceable music. So you might want to have your string quartet or, your acoustic duo, that kind of music playing while people are eating. Then when it gets to the moment that you are going to do your first dance, you get all your guests to stand up and to stand around the dance floor. Now, we said before that the pro of not having that is that the photographer gets some good shots without anyone in the way. But the pro of having everyone around the dance floor, one of the many pros, is that actually your guests are in the background of those first dance photos, looking at you, smiling, enjoying that moment. And that is so special to see those photos of the happy couple doing their first dance and everyone around them just loving the moment. But here's what else happens. You do your first dance. Depending on how much attention you like, depending on how shy you are, depending on how prepared you feel to be doing a first dance in front of everyone, At some point in the dance, you might want your wedding party to come up and join you on the dance floor. That's normally, say, halfway through the song, or if you're really, really feeling like you need some help, 45 seconds into the song, or if you feel like you've got this, maybe it's 45 seconds before the end of the song. You just pick your cue ahead of time. You or your partner could kind of raise your hand and, gesture the come here sort of signal, and your wedding party will know what that means. They get on the dance floor. So then what's happened is you've already signaled that people can be on the dance floor. But then as soon as your first dance is finished, you immediately go into your banger songs. Now, the reason this has to be immediate is because if there's even a short lull with nothing happening, it's awkward and guests are like, what do we do? And they start to slowly move away. You want to capture them instantly. So your band or your DJ, whoever's got everyone's attention in that moment, should make the most of it. Play an absolute banger, and I will talk about that in a moment. A song that everybody will want to dance to because they're right there they're basically on the dance floor already. And then you or your DJ or your MC can say over the intro to that song, come on everyone, let's dance together. Something simple like that. Now, as you can tell, for anybody who wants to dance but feels a little bit shy, or for anybody who doesn't know if they want to dance, or people who have decided they're not going to dance, they're right there on the dance floor. You're playing a banger. Everyone's there. You've asked them to come on. The chances are they're going to start dancing. And once you get them started, it's going to be a lot harder for them to stop dancing. So it's all about how you start, which is why I've spent quite a lot of time on this point. Start strong. And I'm telling you, your guests will be there on the dance floor. Now, we spoke about those bangers. Now, your music choices are really important, and they ultimately come down to your guests. And so there isn't a one choice that fits for everybody. So I will give you a couple of examples of songs that I know work, but it really does come down to what you and your guests really enjoy. So there may be songs that most people are most people are aware of the song enough that they go, okay, I know that I can dance to that. There may be songs that lots of your guests really love. Maybe your friends and family have a particular song that whenever it's played at a wedding, you all dance, and you will know what those moments are. And so you can have a conversation with your band or your DJ about what song you think could work. But I also recommend that you highly value the experience of your band and DJ, because they also know what songs work generally with most crowds. So have a conversation between what you know, what your professionals know, and see if you can pick some songs together. But the idea here is that the first 3 songs that you play right after your first dance are the ones that keep everybody on the dance floor, because this is going to set the tone for what the dancing will be like for the rest of the night. So there are more than enough bangers to go around. So if you play your top 3 right off the bat, there will be time for other songs to come later. So you don't have to feel like, oh, what happens if, we don't have any good songs left? You will have plenty of good songs left, I'm telling you. So you pick the 3 best ones, and you know that there will be other songs that guests love that they'll be waiting for. So here are a few examples. Songs like Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. Everybody knows the words, so even if they don't necessarily feel like they can dance, they can sing along. Songs like Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. That was the song that played when my husband and we didn't do a first dance, we did a first song, but we still had the same procedure with everybody around us on the dance floor. And as soon as we finished, that song Shake It Off played, and we were like, come on, let's dance. And people danced. Another song, Dancing Queen by ABBA. Again, everybody knows the words. They'll love it. Something like Raise Your Glass by Pink. Or my personal favorite, Mr. Brightside by The Killers. So as you can tell, what we're going for is something fun, something familiar, something people generally know the words to. And there'll be other songs that you and your friends and family know and love that you can add to that mix. And again, talk to your band and DJ, because they'll have some other suggestions too. But the idea here is that while they're right by the dance floor, play something that they just can't resist dancing to. Okay, I've alluded to this one before, but it's really important that you hire a band and a DJ. It ultimately does come down to your priorities, but I'm assuming that if you're listening to this episode, it's because dancing and having a party is a priority for you. In that case, when you have a band, they really set the tone for what the party is going to be like. Your band has the opportunity to be really interactive, which I can explain more later on in this episode, because that is important. And then your DJ really knows how to continue getting the party going, especially towards the end of the night when people may be a little bit tired, and having that change in pace, that change in style can really help keep people's stamina going. And so sometimes that transition from the band to the DJ could be one where, you're bringing out your midnight snacks. Depending on the program for the night, there's normally a bit of a lull. And so having something shift, having, the pace change, having the style change, even just the change of the person and the fact that they're playing songs that are not live, something changes, and in a good way, you can get more people out onto the dance floor again if they have started to take their seats for whatever reason. So I always recommend having a band and a DJ. It gives you a wider selection of songs to choose. It gives you the option for, as I said, with the band, you've got interactive moments, you've got, a particular style that you could be going for. It could be trad music, it could be 90s, noughties, pop songs, whatever your particular style is that you love. And then with the DJ, the options are endless. And so having both of those professionals working together is a really amazing combo. Okay, next thing, avoid distractions. Now, let's say you have other entertainment that you want as well. Things like a magician, a caricaturist, maybe a photo booth or 360-degree video booth. All of those options are awesome and I highly recommend them. But it does matter when you have those options. Again, I went to another wedding. This was a couple of years ago, and it was kind of awkward because I wanted to dance, but dancing was clearly not a priority for anyone else. And so I didn't dance as much as I wanted to because it was a bit awkward. The way that the venue was laid out, which is something I will explain in a moment, the venue basically created options for people where if they wanted to dance, they could dance. If they wanted to be outside, they could be outside. If they wanted to do the photo booth, they could do that in another area. But the thing that made it tricky was all of these options were available at the same time. And now in this particular instance, that wasn't a problem because the dancing wasn't a priority for the couple. But what ended up happening in that moment was guests were forced to choose what they wanted to do. And then when you've got, say, 100 people or 150 people all spread across 7 different activities, it makes it really difficult to feel like there is, a group of people all dancing together and then it's easy for someone to join. It was just awkward. And there were times where there were 2 of us dancing at one time, and it was like, I don't even care if my favorite song comes on. I'm not dancing. It's just too weird. So if you're going to have your dancing be a priority, then I recommend that you have all your other activities at another point in the night. It could be during your cocktail hour. It could be, if there's a lull in the dancing and you strategically want to have a couple of options available, great. But don't have all 7, 8, 9, or 10 options come out at once, forcing your guests to choose what they want to do, and then having, 3 people on the dance floor, 3 people at the photo booth, 3 people here, 3 people there, because then nobody feels like they know what's going on. So I've alluded to this one as well, but your venue layout is actually really important. So with the venue the wedding that I mentioned earlier, they had exclusive use of this venue, the couple that I knew, and for them dancing wasn't a priority. So this instance wasn't bad. It was what they wanted. So there was a barbecue happening outside. There was a dance floor on, inside, but in the corner. There was a photo booth in another area. There was something else going on somewhere else. I think there may have been cake in another part. And so what ended up happening was, because there were all these separate rooms, guests couldn't hear the music and see what they were missing. Whereas if you have one big reception hall, and if guests aren't dancing, they're probably at their seat or at the bar. It means that when they're not dancing, they can still see everyone else having fun and they can hear the songs that are playing. And then there's a better chance that they're going to get FOMO and they're going to come and join the dance floor. And that's what you want. If dancing is your priority, you want everyone in the same room as much as possible. You don't want to be splitting them into 7 different rooms across a whole venue where the dance floor is far from sight and far from hearing. You want to create a space where people are nearby and they can hear what they're missing and they go, oh, I can hear that song. It's Mr. Brightside. Let's go dance. And then everybody goes and dances. So again, it really does come down to your priorities, but if dancing and having a party is your priority, make it possible for everyone to know what they're missing out on when they're not on the dance floor. And finally, make it interactive. When you get your guests on the dance floor, make them have so much fun that they don't want to leave, or they're leaving so they can grab their friends to bring them onto the dance floor. So your band will be brilliant at engaging with people, taking requests, maybe even coming out onto the dance floor. I've seen that happen. It's so much fun and everybody loves it, but that interactive element is really cool. You could even get things like, get people singing along, get them laughing together, mingling together. You could do those songs where people are following the instructions on the song and doing a dance together, like the Macarena and the Cha-Cha slide. Everybody loves those cheesy moments. You could even have some props that you incorporate, like inflatable guitars or glow sticks, the kind of things that just get people having a lot of fun in that moment. So, thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.